They say a home should be the safest place in the world, but that night, mine became a stranger's house. It was a Friday in Dallas, Texas. One of those calm evenings when the air smells like rain but never delivers. I had just come home from work, shoulders tight from another long day at the office. My hands were still damp from the drizzle outside when I opened the door and saw her, Melanie, standing in the living room, arms crossed, face stiff like marble. She didn't greet me. She didn't smile. She just said, "You're sleeping in the garage tonight." At first I thought she was joking. We'd argued before, stupid things, little misunderstandings that all marriages collect over time. But her tone, it was different this time. Cold, final. "The garage?" I asked, half laughing, trying to read her eyes. "Yeah," she said flatly. "My real boyfriend is coming over." And that's when I knew it wasn't a joke. My throat tightened. I remember the clock ticking in the corner, each tick sounding louder than my own heartbeat. I looked at her, really looked, and saw nothing but certainty in her face. She wasn't ashamed. She wasn't bluffing. She was dead serious. I wanted to shout, to ask why, to throw every sacrifice I'd ever made for her into her face. But instead, I said nothing. Sometimes silence is the loudest reaction you can give. So I grabbed my car keys from the counter. My hands didn't shake, but my heart did. She watched me, probably expecting me to argue, to beg, to make a scene. I didn't give her that satisfaction. "Enjoy your evening," I muttered and walked out. The door shut behind me like the end of a movie I didn't want to watch anymore. I sat in my car for a full minute before turning the key. The dashboard lights glowed faintly against the rain-specked windshield. My reflection looked like a stranger's, a man who had just lost something he didn't realize was already gone. I drove. No music, no destination, just the hum of tires and the echo of her words replaying in my head. "My real boyfriend is coming over." I didn't even know she had someone else. Or maybe I did, deep down. Maybe all the late-night work calls, all the sudden girls' weekends were pieces of a puzzle I refused to finish. Dallas at night can feel endless. Neon signs blur into streaks of red and blue as you pass them. I finally stopped at a small roadside hotel off Interstate 35, the kind of place that smells faintly of cigarettes and disappointment. The woman at the front desk didn't ask questions. She handed me a key card, and I checked in under my real name, Ethan Cross. That name, it would matter later. The room was small, beige walls, a single lamp flickering near the bed. I tossed my jacket over the chair, sat down and stared at the blank TV screen. For the first time in years, I felt nothing. No anger, no sadness, just emptiness. I picked up my phone, thought about calling someone, a friend, my brother, anyone, but what would I say? Hey, my wife kicked me out so she could sleep with someone else. No, I'd keep this to myself, at least for now. Hours passed. The world outside went silent. I must have dozed off, because when I opened my eyes again, the digital clock glowed 3:02 a.m. That's when it started. My phone buzzed once, then again, over and over. When I looked at the screen, my stomach tightened. 47 missed calls, all from Melanie, and one text message. But that part comes later. At that moment, I just stared at my phone, the blue glow lighting my face. Part of me wanted to turn it off, throw it across the room, forget she even existed. But curiosity has a cruel way of keeping you awake. I didn't open the message. Not yet. I wanted her to feel the silence I'd felt all night. Instead, I stepped outside onto the motel balcony. The city was still half asleep, just a few cars whispering down the wet street, the air thick with the smell of damp asphalt. Somewhere not too far from there, my wife was panicking, and for reasons I didn't yet understand, I wasn't the one losing sleep anymore. When you're pushed to the edge, you learn things about yourself you didn't know, like how much pain you can carry quietly, how much dignity you can hold when someone tries to break it. As I stood under the buzzing motel light, watching raindrops fall onto the pavement below, I realized something simple but terrifying. I didn't really know the woman I married, but the truth, she didn't know me either, and soon enough she would find out. The first call came at 3:02 a.m., the second at 3:02 a.m. By the 10th one, I knew she wasn't calling to apologize. She was scared. I didn't answer. I just watched the screen light up again and again until it stopped. Then silence, for about a minute. Then came the message, "Ethan, please call me back. Something's wrong." I almost laughed. Something's wrong? That was an understatement. But I didn't reply. I just set the phone down and stared at the faint crack on the motel wall until the screen dimmed again. Another text, then another, each one more frantic than the last. "He left. Ethan, he saw your picture. Please, what did you do?" I frowned. My picture? I hadn't even left a trace behind. Not online, not in public. Nobody from her world knew my past. Not even her. At least that's what I thought. The calls started again. I finally picked up. Melanie. Her breath trembled on the other end. "Ethan, I don't know what's happening. He just ran. He saw your photo on the dresser and started asking me questions. Then he just bolted." Her voice cracked. "He said your name like he'd heard it before." I said nothing. "Ethan," she whispered, "who are you?" I could hear her pacing, the creak of the living room floorboards, the sound of rain tapping against the window behind her. "Please talk to me," she begged. He looked terrified, like he'd seen a ghost. My thumb brushed the corner of the phone, my reflection staring back at me in the black screen. "Calm, too calm." "I told you," I said quietly. "You don't really know me." There was a pause. Then her voice broke into a cry. "Ethan, what did you do?" "I didn't do anything tonight," I said. "But I think he did." Silence. Then a knock echoed faintly through my end of the line. Soft, deliberate. 3 slow raps on a motel door. My door. I turned, eyes narrowing toward the sound. Melanie was still talking, voice shaking. "Ethan, are you there?" I lowered the phone from my ear, ending the call without answering. The knock came again. This time, whoever it was whispered through the door. "Mr. Cross, it's been a long time." I didn't move, didn't breathe. The world outside was still drowning in rain, and somewhere across town, my wife was realizing she'd just married a man no one Googles without consequences. I drove back to the house before sunrise. Melanie didn't know it yet, but every second she spent awake, panicking, texting, calling, it had been recorded, logged, not by me, by others, people who knew exactly what she'd done and what she'd triggered. The street was empty. The garage light flickered faintly in the dim morning haze. I didn't knock. I didn't ring the bell. I walked in. She froze mid-step in the living room, phone still in hand, eyes wide. "Ethan," her voice quivered. "I thought you were at the hotel." "I was," I said, "and I'm here now." Her knees went weak. She stumbled back against the sofa. The coffee table rattled. I didn't mean." "Save it," I interrupted, calm. I didn't raise my voice. I didn't need to. The weight in my gaze made her shrink. I stepped closer. She took instinctive steps back. "You need to understand something," I said, voice low, measured. "This isn't about betrayal. This is about choice. And tonight, you chose poorly." Her breaths came faster. She looked around as if the walls themselves could save her. Who are you really?" Her words trembled. What have you done?" I stopped a few feet from her, letting silence stretch between us like a blade. "You don't want to know," I said. "Yes, I do," she cried. Tell me everything," I smiled faintly. "Just a hint. You remember that man, your real boyfriend?" I asked. Her eyes flicked toward the doorway, panic returning. "He's lucky he ran, lucky you ran to him." Her lips parted. What do you mean?" I took another step closer than comfort allows. "I'm someone people look for when they want answers. I'm someone people fear when they lie. I'm someone who doesn't forgive, especially not betrayal." She backed into the sofa. "Ethan, please." I raised my hand, not to strike, but to gesture. "You think this is about me sleeping in the garage? About hurt feelings?" I asked. My tone was quiet, but every word struck harder than a shout. "It's about consequences. And you, Melanie, you've just discovered what those look like." Her phone buzzed again. She looked down. New text, from the stranger who had warned her earlier. "Run while you can." She dropped the phone. Her gaze returned to me, and for the first time I saw true fear. Not of me, but of what I am. I crouched slightly, keeping my voice steady. "I've given you chances. I've been patient. I've protected you even from yourself. But lies catch up, always." Her voice broke. "Please, you should have thought about that before tonight," I said. Then softer, almost a whisper. "I'm not just a husband, not just Ethan Cross. And the life you gambled with, you can't buy back." I turned toward the door, paused. "One last look. Remember this," I said. "Some people never forgive, and some never forget." The rain picked up outside. I walked out. The door clicked shut behind me. She sank to the floor. Phone forgotten. Breath coming in ragged gasps. The echo of my words and who I really was, hanging over her like a storm. Outside, I got into my car. The engine hummed. Dallas stretched ahead, quiet, unaware. But one thing was certain. Her life would never be the same again.